The 2025 NFL Draft left many teams starved for a franchise quarterback, with a class that lacked those elite blue chip prospects to truly ignite the league. Only Cam Ward and Jackson Dart, they went in the first round, leaving many to wonder, should we wait until next year? Well, buckle up, because the 2026 quarterback class is shaping up to be a game changer, packed with high upside talent like Lenore Sellers, Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, maybe Arch Manning. This group promises to deliver the star power that just wasn't in the 2025 class. So let's break down why the 2026 quarterback class will generate so much buzz and who could be the next face of maybe your favorite franchise. I'm going to go over the top 10 in this video. Stick around to the end because I'm going to go over some honorable mentions, but I got to start with a guy who's not on the list. And I got to start there because he's probably the biggest name in college football. That's Arch Manning out of Texas. He runs like his father, but he passes like his uncles and his grandfather. He was a former 5-star recruit out of the 2023 recruiting class. He broke the school record for passing yards and passing touchdowns, held by Peyton and Eli Manning. Also played basketball. He's a part of the Manning family tree. And the two big reasons why he doesn't make my list, and he's more of this TBD, is because, for one, it's a very small sample size. It's 2 starts and him coming into that UTSA game. But also the Mannings, they had a history of, okay, we'll sit in school, get some starts under your belt. So he could very likely be a part of the 2027 quarterback class, and you're going to have to just wait and see and let the season play out. But you're dealing with a quarterback with prototypical size, really good arm strength. He could drive the ball downfield. Quick release, gets good velocity on short to intermediate passes, plus athlete, does a great job, not just avoiding pressure, but actually making plays with his feet. He's an actual threat on the ground. He can be inconsistent with the ball placement. A lot of this is a lack of experience. There are a lot of errant passes among those 2 starts, but golly, the traits. But going into the actual top 10, I have Carson Beck, quarterback out of the U, baby, the U. I'm a big Hurricanes fan. He's 6'4", 220 pounds, a former 4-star recruit from the 2020 recruiting class. Also played baseball in high school. Initially went to Georgia, redshirted his freshman season, and then he served as a backup for Stenson Bennett and JT Daniels in that redshirt freshman year. He was a backup for Stenson Bennett in 2022 and got to be the full-fledged starter in 2023, where he showed some promise, made second team all SEC. And then last season, because going into the year, a lot of people pegged him as the top quarterback in that class. It was him and Shedeur Sanders, but not a lot of people were wild about the quarterback class. And then Beck proceeded to have just a season filled with a ton of peaks and valleys. I mean, you could just look at the turnover-worthy play rate at 3.8%. It just wasn't fun. He started 13 games. Then, I mean, this just to add to it, he suffered a UCL injury, basically that Tommy John's injury in his thrown elbow, where he ended up missing the college football playoff. He would transfer after the season, reunited, I guess, with his girlfriend. I say reunited, joining up with his girlfriend there in Miami. But you're dealing with a quarterback with prototypical size. He processes the field, I think, exceptionally quickly. He gets the ball out even quicker. You look at average time to throw, 2.52 seconds. That's really good. Throws with good anticipation, good ball placement. He can manipulate defenses with his eyes and his shoulders. He's shown he could throw from a variety of arm slots. He's very poised in the pocket, knows how to get out of dodge. He was plagued by drops from his pass catchers last year. But let's not pretend that he wasn't a part of the problem last year for Georgia, because golly, the turnover-worthy play rate shot up. He forced way too many throws when nothing was open. Just abysmal decision-making. I mean, his average, adjusted completion percentage under pressure, 53.6%. Just not very good. Also, not a great arm, a very average arm. He'll hang some balls deep. That's just what it is. Doesn't always load his throws from the back foot. Very average athlete, won't make too many plays with his feet. He's not going to scare a defense with his feet. On top of that, he's coming off the injury. So We kind of want to see how he comes back from that. But I still feel like an early day 3 grade is pretty solid to start out of the gates, because I do believe he can end up in that day 2 area. Coming in at number 9, it's Talon Green out of Arkansas. He's 6'6", 224 pounds, so he's got that prototypical quarterback size. And he was initially a 3-star recruit out of the 2021 recruiting class. He also participated in track and field. He actually holds his old high school's long jump record. So good on you, bro. He ends up going to Boise State, where he redshirted his freshman year. And then in 2022, he started 10 games, was the Mountain West Freshman of the Year. He was also the MVP of the Frisco Bowl and was the full-time starter going into 2023. Ended up deciding to transfer after that season because it was kind of like, it was fine. But he goes to Arkansas and starts every game this year. Finished with the second most yards of any player in Arkansas history. And then was the Liberty Bowl MVP. And you might be like, then why is a cat this big, wonderful athletic ability, like legitimately dangerous runner, long strides, can take it to the house? Why is he so low on this list? And I guess we should start with the negatives first, because he misses a lot of throws. His adjusted completion rate is at 70%. And he just locks on and stares down his targets. He forces too many throws into coverage. There were a lot of overthrows downfield that should have been big plays. There were multiple throws a game just into double or triple coverage. And he can be a tick late on anticipation, and it will throw behind his receivers in between the hashes. He keeps his eyes downfield under pressure, but never really gets to his check down. So there's a lot of problems, I would say, as a passer. But when you have tools like this, you kind of hold out hope for this upcoming season, because he's got a good arm. The ball just flies out of his hand with easy zip. He has the velocity to fit the ball into tight windows. He has the mass to be able to absorb hits in the pocket, and as a runner, he is just got these extraordinary tools, both as an athlete and just from an arm talent perspective, that you kind of want to bet on that, right? You really want to. And to be fair, like, I would say the ball placement is a problem, but his completion percentage is a little, I guess, deflated. I guess deflated is the word I'm looking for, because it's a very vertical offense. So he's throwing down the field a ton. So I think there's some possibilities there. I wasn't willing to give him a day 2 grade coming into the year, but if we see a big improvement in just, because listen, his average time to throw, it's going to be naturally higher just because of the vertical offense he's in and just him being a very good athlete. But if you see the accuracy go up in a big way, could be a sneaky first rounder. Just going to say it. At number 8, it's John Mateer out of Oklahoma. He's 6'1", 224 pounds. I will say this, probably some of the most fun tape you will ever watch from last year. But he was a former 3-star recruit from the 2022 recruiting class. His father, Steven, swam 1 year at Missouri. So, fun fact. Goes to Washington State, redshirts his first year. Was the backup for Cam Ward in 2023. Became the full-time starter last year, where he started 12 games. He was also a team captain. He transferred after the regular season and ended up following his offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, to Oklahoma. But he put up really good numbers last year. 29 passing touchdowns. He had over 3,100 yards. When you talk about what he did on the ground, with 15 rushing touchdowns, over 1,000 yards rushing. Like I said, he is a very fun prospect. He's a little stout, but he possesses good mass and athletic ability. The arm strength, I would say, is adequate. And I guess we could kind of get into some of the problems I have with the arm in general. It's a sidearm release, which has resulted in a ton of batted balls and just him thrown from like difficult arm angles. I want to say, I'm trying to remember what game specifically, but he had an interception that was like, it was supposed to be a play out to the flats. And just because he side throwing, the defender was just able to kind of like go out there and just pick it off. It sucked. It was what it was. But he can be a tad slow to anticipate. He's still kind of figuring out how to throw with touch, specifically downfield. And he could definitely do a better job of setting his feet, throwing from a consistent base, because a lot of his misses, he's missing high. But he is so much fun. He throws with good velocity. He can put the ball on the rope if he wants. The ball travels quickly on the short to intermediate. He keeps his eyes downfield when forced to scramble, so he wants to be a passer even when he's forced out of the pocket or when things break down. He accelerates very quickly with his feet. He goes from like, okay, well, screw it, I'm a ball carrier now, and he's got some solid change of direction for the quarterback position, and he runs low. He runs with a low center of gravity. Again, 6'1", kind of stout. And he had 54 forced missed tackles last season. That's just a ludicrous number for a quarterback. It just is. He will hold on to the ball occasionally too long because he likes to drift backwards in the pocket when he sees pressure. But he's so fun. And man, I think I really gave him this 3rd round grade just because I had such a fun time with his tape. Could end up being more of this early to mid day 3 player, but let's see how he does at Oklahoma. At number 7 is Nico Iamaleava out of UCLA. Kind of a weird guy to place on this list because I also think he could be looking ahead to the 2027 quarterback class. It's just he's got a bigger sample size than Arch. That's really why I decided to include him. But he's 6'6", 215 pounds, former 5-star recruit from the 2023 recruiting class. He played volleyball in high school and was actually regarded as one of the top volleyball players in the country. He has 7 siblings, with his older brother Matt playing volleyball at Long Beach State. His sister plays volleyball at Cypress College. His younger brother Madden is going to be one of the top prep quarterback recruits in the 2025 recruiting class. I don't know where he's going. Well, I guess we'll find out. But it is a very athletic family. He starts his career at Tennessee, redshirts his freshman year. Did manage to get one start in there, though. Was the full-time starter last year. Started all 13 games, became the first freshman quarterback in Tennessee history to lead the Vols to 10 wins. He decided to transfer in the spring. This is going to be a contentious point for some people because him and Tennessee could not decide upon a more lucrative NIL deal. Again, I don't know how deep that goes. Don't know really if there's really any fingers to blame there or if it was just like, hey, we just couldn't come to some sort of agreement. But he becomes a transfer in the spring where a lot of teams are like, well, we're already having our quarterback competitions. And the funny thing is he ends up going to UCLA, and the Appalachian State quarterback, golly, I got his name on the tip of my tongue. It's like Joey something, Aguilera or something. He was transferring to UCLA. Once he saw Nico was coming to UCLA, he was like, okay, I guess I'm going to Tennessee and I'm going to go compete there. So I guess it all worked out somewhat. But I think Tennessee fans out there are like, whoa, hey, good, fine. He was so inconsistent last year. You go back to the tape and it's like, oh, wow, no. He's pretty darn solid. Yes, inconsistent, but you can definitely look at, or at least in the early parts of the year, where Nico won games for this squad. Like, he borders on that prototypical build, needs to add more mass, but he's an exceptionally young player. He's got good arm strength with really good velocity. He's got the zip to fit passes into tight windows. He'll run through his progressions actually really fast. And his touch passes, they're coming along, but I think they're trending in the right direction. It's just he's got to get the ball placement down. He's a plus athlete with the ability to scramble, but he always scrambles to pass. Long, quick strides makes him just very dangerous as a ball carrier. And he's now he's going to a more pro style offense there at UCLA under Foster, opposed to Tennessee, who, I mean, this is an offense that gives the quarterback just the type of space he's not going to see in the NFL. He's just not. He's got a slender frame. He needs to continue to add more mass, but hey, he's young. Needs to get rid of the ball very much quicker. When things break down, it tends to hold on to the football and just kind of makes broken plays worse. The anticipation's a bit tick late, resulting in some underthrows or throws behind the wide receiver. Panics under pressure, forces a lot of inaccurate throws. Accuracy slips when he's forced out of the pocket. And I think there's a lot to work on there, and let's see how it goes at UCLA in year 1. But I think this is a guy that has first round potential. I really do. At number 6 is my sleeper in this class. It's Darren Manessa out of Duke. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and he's a former 3-star out of the 2023 recruiting class. So he's only a redshirt sophomore this season. He played basketball in high school. He has a twin sister, Grace, who plays soccer at Oregon. But he initially goes to Tulane, became the full-time starter in 2024. Remember, Michael Pratt was there, so it was kind of, yeah, Manessa, you should probably redshirt. Had a good year. 22 passing touchdowns, threw for over 2,700 yards. Decides to transfer, and he had one of the more lucrative NIL deals for the quarterbacks. Ends up going to Duke. And he's got a solid arm. He can drive the ball on the intermediate to deep parts of the field. Prefers to throw with touch. And I think he does so with very good anticipation. Very good ball placement. Put the ball only where the receiver can get it. If you look at his accuracy, it doesn't really slip when it's on the move or when he's under pressure. He's a very accurate quarterback in general. He's got one of the highest completion rates in this class from adjusted completion percentage standpoint at 75.7%. He does a great job of going through his progressions and manipulating the defense. But they list him at 6'3". I feel like at times he looked shorter on tape. And I don't know how much more mass he could really add to that body. The deep ball occasionally will hang on him. It's not like he's got a big arm or an elite arm, but I think it's a solid enough arm for the NFL. There is some times where there is errant decision making under pressure, where it's like, I can make these throws. It's like, maybe you shouldn't try to make some of these throws. He's an okay athlete, will have trouble escaping from NFL pressure, and he rather drifts backwards than actually stepping into the pocket. But I saw a lot on the short to intermediate to, like, honestly all levels of the field that I came away very encouraged. If he could get that turnover worthy play rate down, because there were some errant passes out there where it's like, hey, sometimes live to see another play. But I'm very intrigued. I think that's a good Duke team in the ACC. So I'm going to go ahead and put my flag in them for now. We'll see how the season goes. I'll be back with more quarterback prospects, but I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. If you like weekly best ball or my favorite, high or low on player stats, then check out Underdog Fantasy. When you download the app, you're signing up with promo code Broshmo because they will match that first deposit up to $1,000 dues. We got the MLB, the NBA's here. They currently still have their extender going on, and that's basically for if a series goes longer, your potential profit boosts get larger. So yeah, check that sucker out. Remember, if you are going to sign up, it's promo code Broshmo. You're going to want to have this sucker for the NFL season because, well, shoot, I love the NFL and I know you do too. So it's a fun way to play, but as always, play responsibly and play within your means. At number 5, it's Sam Levitt out of Arizona State. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. Initially a 4-star recruit out of the 2023 recruiting class. His dad played football at BYU, and his brother also played football at BYU as a safety and at Utah State. He would go undrafted, but he did play for a few squads in the NFL. But Levitt, he started his career at Michigan State, redshirted his freshman season, but soon after Mel Tucker was fired, Jonathan Smith, the former Oregon State head coach, took the job at Michigan State, but he didn't offer Levitt a scholarship, so he decided to enter the transfer portal, goes to Arizona State, and they just had a magical year last year. Started all 13 games, made second team, all Big 12. He also set a school record for total offense by a freshman. Keep in mind, redshirt freshman going into his redshirt sophomore season. And I remember I casually watched him because I knew he wasn't eligible. Casually watched him over the season last year. And I thought, okay, he's a young quarterback, can be wildly inaccurate at times. You know, kind of is what it is. We'll see what he is over the summer when I actually sit down and watch him. And sitting down and watching him, I came away very intrigued and like, oh, wow, I kind of underrated this cat because he's got a solid arm strength. He throws with good velocity on the short to intermediate. He has some special throws on tape in terms of ball placement and anticipation. He's a very confident passer who borders on hero ball tendencies, but never quite dips into just being an abysmal playmaker because of it. So I think this is somebody who can put the team on his shoulders. I know Scadaboo's gone, but I think Arizona State's going to be just fine. He legit has boosters as well. When he decides to tuck in and run, he gets the top speed in a hurry. He has a little shiftiness as a ball carrier and just really good escapability. So yeah, I came away like, oh, wow. This is a legit potential first rounder right here. However, he is a bit slender, young guy. He's going to add more mass. It is an inconsistent throwing motion. Doesn't always follow through with his hips. And sometimes it looks like he's throwing off his back foot, but it's just him not following through with the throw. The ball placement comes and goes. Sometimes he misses wildly. Occasionally he puts too much air under the ball, which just allows defenders to be able to hurry and get there and rally and make a play on the ball. Eyes will go down when he's on the move. It does feel like he scrambles to run, and scrambling can't get him in trouble. He was lucky he didn't have a lot more negative plays. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay, there's a lot of tools here. There's a lot of intrigue for me. I'm very optimistic when it comes to Levitt. At number 4, it's Drew Aller out of Penn State. Much like Leavitt, I have a top 50 grade on Aller. I thought he was probably going to be a first rounder for me, and I'll kind of discuss my reasons why I couldn't just give him that bona fide first round grade. But he's 6'5", 236 pounds. He's an absolute unit. Former 5-star out of the 2022 recruiting class. His father played tight end at Eastern Michigan. He holds the school record and the country or county record for career passing yards and touchdowns, as well as the all-time season record for passing yards and touchdowns. He also played baseball and basketball in high school. He was a backup to start his freshman season, and then he became the full-time starter in 2023. He was the full-time starter last year. This is going to be a guy with a lot of starts under his belt, and you like that. That just benefits you going to the NFL. We've seen that from guys like Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels. Just saying. I said he was an absolute unit, right? Dude's got a huge arm too. Cannon, great size, big arm. Nice mix of zip and touch throws. He can spin it when he wants to. Hardly ever held the ball for way too long. He's very decisive and wants to get the ball out quickly. He made throws in spite of there being little to no separation by his pass catchers. He maneuvers the pocket, I think, pretty well, and he's got plus mobility. He can create with his legs, and he's a tough runner that can just be punishing to bring down. 21 forced missed tackles last year on 81 carries. However, why I came away more lower on him is honestly, I didn't see outside of that Oregon game in the Big Ten championship, I didn't feel like he stepped up in a lot of big moments. I get it. He had a lot of good parts around him, especially in that backfield. You're working with a good defense as well, but still, I kind of expected him to flash more, and I think that was kind of very just present in the Notre Dame game in the playoffs. Also, he can be a bit toesy from the pocket, doesn't always throw from a consistent base. Ball placement can be a bit inconsistent. Late anticipation leads to throws behind the pass catchers. You could check that Big Ten championship game. He had I think an interception that honestly should have been like a 10-yard pickup, but ends up going the other way, puts Oregon in scoring position. Occasionally, the YOLO ball was there under pressure. I think it was less than it was the year before, so kind of a nitpick here, but I do want to see him arrive and show up in these big game moments, and now he has adequate pass catchers. I mean, he had Tyler Warren, but outside of that, it wasn't much of anyone else. It was Nick Singleton, his running back. So he's got legit wide receivers. They recruited, they went in the transfer portal and did a good job of getting really good wide receivers. So now I want to see him take this, like, these subtle breakouts and turn it into a massive one this season. Now we get into the top 3. These were the guys that I had the most fun watching. They're all first rounders in my opinion. And it starts with Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He's a former 4-star recruit out of the 2021 recruiting class. His father, Doug, was drafted in the 4th round of the 1994 NFL draft by the New Orleans Saints. He played 5 years in the league. He currently, he was formerly the quarterback's coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, and now he's the offensive coordinator for, the team that drafted him, the New Orleans Saints. And his son, I'm just saying, if Tyler Shough don't look great this year, there's a Garrett Nussmeier that's going to be out there. So Nuss, he ended up redshirting his freshman season, and he played backup for the 2 years after that behind Jaden Daniels. Waited his time, became the full-time starter this season. He did have that lone start in the Relia Quest Bowl versus Wisconsin. It was a good game for him, but full-time starter this year. Ended up being the MVP of the Texas Bowl. There was a lot to like, but golly, there was some to dislike. You could go, and honestly, the Texas A&M game is kind of the perfect representation of the good being the first half and then the bad being that second half. And I watched the 4 games after that against quality opponents, and the dude's got a good arm. He can push it downfield. He throws with appropriate touch, very technically sound. He throws from different arm angles with a quick release, whips his hips, gets good velocity on the ball, specifically in the short to intermediate throws, quick processor. He goes through his progressions very quickly. Average time to throw was 2.67 seconds. The ball placement I thought was pretty nice. He also shows good anticipation. He's not afraid to hit in the pocket and just take a hit, make the throw in the midst of pressure. Did a better job throwing the football away under pressure during the later part of the 2024. I thought at the beginning of the year, all the way to that Texas A&M game, he's just out there slinging it, right? Slinging it willy-nilly. But then he really acclimated himself into the offense and played within the offense. And I thought he was much more clean. I really did. Does remain accurate while on the move. Carried the offense on his shoulders this past year because they had no real rush attack. The frame is a bit slender. I wouldn't say small, but it's 6'2", 200. It's not great size. Won't scare you with his feet. That's just not who he is. He's a gunslinger from the pocket. Will force throws into double coverage occasionally. Don't love it. Needs to work on it. But like I said, I thought it got better now the stretch. And it will occasionally force to his first read if under pressure. But I got some Kirk Cousins vibes from him. He will be 24 going into his rookie year. But having a second year as a full-time starter, that's going to put probably 27 starts under his belt, which is that's nice. You want to typically having more than 25 starts gives you a good taste of what this quarterback is. And and I know I bring up Kirk Cousins. Don't think Kirk Cousins last year. Think of his years with, honestly, the back half with Washington and then his time in Minnesota. I thought he was relatively good. So I think there's a lot of good potential here from Nuss. At number 2, it's Lenoris Sellers out of South Carolina. He's 6'3", 240 pounds, former 3-star recruit from the 2023 recruiting class. Also played soccer in high school, so that's the first time we've heard that on this list. Goes to South Carolina, redshirts his freshman season, and then last year ended up winning the starting job right off the bat. Played in that Old Dominion game. And I mean, it was a sloppy game from like a weather standpoint. There were some ups and downs, but he had a very, very fun season. He did miss a game with an ankle injury, but he ended up making third team All-SEC. He made the freshman All-SEC team. He was the National Freshman Offensive Player of the Year. had an incredible season. And at 6'3", 240, the man is absolutely thick with 6 C's. Thick. Just absorbs contact so well. Let's talk about him as a runner first, because he's deadly as a ball carrier. Displays legitimate vision and cut-in ability. But he shows that escapability from the pocket, and he's actually pretty poised. Like, some people are going to throw the Anthony Richardson comp out there, and I don't think that's right. The dude has, I get it, he's got a big arm as well. There was a pass versus Illinois, and I think that was the bowl game where it covered 63 yards, and he just stepped into the pocket, got hit in the face with pressure, and the ball just flew. Absolutely insane. But I think he's closer to like a Jalen Hurts, what he was at Oklahoma, than Anthony Richardson, because he's got the zip to fit passes into tight windows. He also has shown he could throw with touch, and he's more accurate than an Anthony Richardson. Richardson, he was around that 69, 68% in terms of adjusted completion percentage. Last year, Sellers was at 70, close to 75%. So he's a more accurate quarterback than people give him credit to. But it's fair to say, as a passer, there were some peaks and there were some valleys. He needs to continue to develop as a passer. The ball placement can be a bit hit or miss. You go to the Missouri game, missed a hitch, 5 yards over the top, ends up being an interception. Needs to anticipate quicker. Throws can arrive late and behind sometimes. There are times where he stares down his first target too much. And being a mobile quarterback, he just naturally holds onto the ball a little bit longer, but he certainly can do a better job of getting the ball out. His average time to throw was 3.3 seconds, so that is pretty darn high. But if you're going to talk about ceiling play, I don't think anyone has a bigger ceiling, again, unless we're talking about Arch Manning, than Lenore Sellers in this class. Then at number 1, it's Cade Klubnik out of Clemson. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. I do want to say, as it stands now, I don't have a blue chip grade on any of these quarterbacks. I kind of want to wait and see a little bit more from them, but I would say probably Klubnik is the closest to that, just because we've seen a bit more of him than we have of guys like Sellers and Manning and Nuss. So Cade Klubnik ended up being a 5-star recruit out of the 2022 recruiting class. His brother Reed played wide receiver at Yale. He also completed a micro internship with First Rate Exchange Services in London his junior year. So cool. He was a backup behind DJ. Let's just call him DJU. I'll get the name down when I talk about his brother Mateo in the defensive line video, but he was the backup, but he did get a start, and that was in the ACC championship game where he was the MVP. So dope. Ends up being the starter last year, or not last year, but in 2023, where I thought he was very up and down, very inconsistent. I didn't like him that much. Last year, it kind of flipped the script on me. He ends up starting all 14 games. He was the ACC championship game MVP for the second time in his career. I think he had a strong run against Texas. Just really good play. I thought he had a really good final part of the season. I mean, the game against Pittsburgh was lights out. We're talking about a playmaker, a big gamer. Solid arm strength, throws with a pretty good velocity, very accurate. He's probably I would say the most accurate from a throw-to-throw basis in this class. And that's kind of why he's number 1 for me, but very accurate on the short to intermediate. The ball placement's very consistent, runs through his progressions very quickly, but to be fair, Clemson's offense, it's a little vanilla, so the reads aren't exactly difficult, but he normally always gets to the right read. And I like that. I never felt like his anticipation was off. He rarely ever put the ball in harm's way. He displayed good poise and feel in the pocket, did a good job avoiding that first pressure, and he could scoot. He possesses like quality vision as a ball carrier. However, sometimes he does rush the throw while taking nothing off it. So he's just, oh, I got to get out quick, guns it like a laser when doesn't really need to. Again, this dude's going to remind me of athletic Baker Mayfield. That's kind of where I think his arm is at, is just he could scoop better. Too many heaters. I'd like to see him throw with more touch. There are a few ambitious throws downfield versus very good coverage. That's kind of where some of the turnovers came. There are a few easy misses under pressure. And it's a slender frame, but he's got the length to add on more mass, so I'm not too worried about that. At the end of the day, I thought this was the quarterback I was most comfortable with putting in the top spot. Now, before we get into some of my honorable mentions, I do want to say that I included some All-22 footage throughout the video to give y'all a more pleasurable viewing experience. However, if I do get hit with a copyright claim, I'm just not going to do that moving forward. I get it. Visually, it's better, but the video is not making money for me. There's really no point in making it. So if I do get hit with a copyright claim, then hey, share the video for me. Let's at least get a lot of eyeballs on it. But without further ado, let's talk some honorable mentions. And I feel like I got to start with Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana. Initially, before that, he was a quarterback of California. I get why people like him. 6'5", 225 pounds, prototypical size. I think the arm's, it's a good arm. I don't think it's big. I think he's more of a rhythm thrower. And I like the anticipation. I like how he goes from pre-snap to post-snap. However, he doesn't always see defenders underneath or in the middle of the field. The accuracy slips on the move, forces his first read a lot. He was too willing to throw 50-50 balls under pressure. I imagine that's not going to get better when you have Elijah Surratt as a wide receiver. So we'll see. I don't feel like I liked him as much as it seems like other people did. But he was number 11 for me. Number 12 was Rocco Beck out of Iowa State. Hella fun. Listen, average size, average arm strength. He feels like Brock Purdy, but he's got some legit wheels. He plays with great timing, great anticipation. He was a lot of fun to watch and someone definitely to monitor. There's going to be guys like Diego Pavia, who I think is just a good college quarterback, but maybe he could go in the mid to late day 3 area. Mark Gronowski, formerly of South Dakota State. Now he's at Iowa. Iowa's finally going to get a quality quarterback. He's solid. He's not going to move much, but he's got a good arm, good decision maker, and I think he could probably potentially be a late day 3 player just because of his high backup potential, in my opinion. I do want to throw out Jalen Daniels out of Kansas there. I think he's going to switch positions. He's got a hell lot of zip, big arm. He's just so wildly inaccurate. Doesn't really, I don't think he's got the processor to play the quarterback position, but he's such a good athlete. I think you could definitely move him to whether it's running back or wide receiver. Some people are going to bring up Aiden Childs out of Michigan State. I didn't love the film, but he's young. He's working in a very NFL style offense, a pro style offense. So if he can be more accurate, it's kind of a wait and see. Dante Moore out of Oregon. We got really nothing on him outside of his freshman year at UCLA. So he's going to be someone just to kind of monitor during the year. Jackson Arnold, I'm intrigued. Let's see how things go at Auburn. Sawyer Robertson out of Baylor. I just kind of want a larger sample size. I think he started 11 games last year, but I was looking at his analytics and I didn't think it was enough for me to actually include him in this watching session. So maybe I get to watch him prior to the season, but I think I'd feel better seeing what type of growth he makes this year. And then who else? Oh yeah, Connor Wegman. I gave him, much like Arch Manning, TBD grade. Let's see how it goes at Houston. He's a guy that I believe was a former 5-star. Yeah, former 5-star recruit. And he flashed in some places. So yeah, it's kind of like let's wait and see, and maybe hopefully things will go well with him. Josh Hoover had fun tape at TCU, but he's just average size, average arm strength. My opinion. Kyron Drones, if he could stay healthy, there's some tools there. So I just gave y'all a ton of honorable mentions. Miller Moss is like your basic backup quarterback. leaves a bit to be desired. But I think he's going to have a good year at Louisville. But go ahead, let me know who are some of your favorite prospects that could potentially be in this class in the comment section below. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.